Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Se Advaita Gadadhar Srila Sari Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Saimakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan ki Sri Vrindavan Dham ki Sri Navadvipa Dham ki Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glorious is some of the devotees, all glorious is some of the devotees. All glorious is some of the devotees, all glorious the Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Vitai, Gokinandi Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhuttale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamri. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauranga Vitai, Namaste Sangyavari, Puskati Devi Tarani. Why don't we, if you begin just the melody, and then someone will go to the kirtan. This evening, we'd like to read a little bit of an edited, or a little slightly edited version of a pastime about Sri Caitanya Prabhu. What should I do with it? I already took dinner. What should I do with it? Okay, I'm going to find out right now. Yes, make it louder. That's the easiest way. This evening, as we were saying, we're going to hear a pastime of Sri Caitanya Prabhu that is narrated in Caitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Lila, in the 16th chapter. But we're going to hear an aspect of it that is not narrated by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, because Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has narrated it in more detail, some of the aspects in more detail in his Chaitanya Bhagavata. So Caitanya Mahaprabhu has gone to Jagannath Puri, and then after taking sannyas he went to Jagannath Puri, and then after going to Jagannath Puri and staying there for approximately 2 weeks only, he went to where? Where did Mahaprabhu travel after Jagannath Puri? To South India. And that his tour of South India was 2 years. And then he returned to Jagannath Puri, and the devotees from Bengal, this is all described in the beginning of Madhya Lila. The devotees from Bengal, they immediately left Bengal when they heard that Mahaprabhu had returned to Puri. Why did they leave Bengal? Because they were unlimitedly eager to see him. They hadn't seen him for 2 years. And in that time they were thinking about Mahaprabhu continuously, but they couldn't see him. So when he returned to Puri, they immediately came to meet him. And then perhaps 2 years passed. And during those 2 years, Caitanya Mahaprabhu had an ever-increasing desire in his heart to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham. But the devotees, especially Maharaj Pratapurudra and Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, their hearts would break if Mahaprabhu left. So they played tricks on him. Now, how could they have done this? Because when we think of love and affection, we think of giving up our own desire to please the person we have love for. We think of placing our desire subordinate below the needs and the desires of our beloved. But yet, although the supreme beloved of all the devotees, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, wanted to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham and stop for a moment and consider that the Lord himself wanted to go to Vrindavan, and the very name of Vrindavan, even when he was far from Vrindavan, would cause ecstatic tears to fall from his eyes. And here we are, sitting in that same Vrindavan that Mahaprabhu so ardently desired to attain, and here we are. And yet, we are so unfortunate, at least I can speak for myself, that tears do not even visit my eyes occasionally. See? That was the underlining of the phrase. So Mahaprabhu tried to go, and Sri Ramananda Roy said to him, "Oh Mahaprabhu, now you should wait till after the Rath Yatra festival, and then you can go. And then after the Rath Yatra festival, oh Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, it is the rainy season. How can you travel in the rainy season? Wait till Kartik, and then you can go. And then after Kartik, you'll never guess what they told him. Mahaprabhu, bahut thanda hai. How can you go now? It is so cold. Just wait till the holy festival." So in this way, they continuously placed obstacles before Mahaprabhu. So he wouldn't go. He would not go without their permission. He would not go without the permission of his own devotees. Now consider that for a moment. But after 2 years had passed, and the devotees from Bengal had come for a third time, and then had left, Mahaprabhu said, "You have played these tricks on me for already 2 years. Please let me go to Vrindavan." And then immediately Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Ramananda Roy said, "Oh, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are completely swatantra. You are completely independent. Who can play any tricks on you? Of course, you can go anytime you want." Their mood shifted when Mahaprabhu's mood shifted. Mahaprabhu was in the mood of a loving devotee, and they were acting as his devotees. But then, when he took the mood of the Supreme Lord, or exerted his independent desire, then they immediately became submissive. But amazingly enough, Mahaprabhu, although he left for Sri Vrindavan Dham, he had the desire to first go see the Ganga. Because as the devotees were missing the Lord was missing the Ganga. So he wanted to go first to Bengal, and then he would proceed to Sri Vrindavan. But actually, there was a secret desire that he had in his heart. And that secret desire pulled him away from Vrindavan. There were 2 devotees staying in Ramakeli, whose names were, yes, and their names would soon be Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami. And he wanted to bring them into his Sankirtan movement, because these souls were incredibly they were his eternal associates. They were completely sold to him. They loved him. They were members of his Vrindavan Lila. And there they were in Ramakeli, acting as government ministers. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to read the entire pastime tonight, but that is so fortunate, because then we will continue tomorrow night. And who were they serving in Ramakeli? Hussain Shah. Now, this was the capital city, the capital of his whole empire. At this time, at this very time, Rupa and Sanatan had already, or Sanatan Goswami had written Mahaprabhu a letter telling him of their deep desire to join him. And Mahaprabhu had decided to go and see them in the capital city of Hussain Shah. Now, just after this time, to give us an idea of how dangerous this single act was, after this time, we hear that Sanatan Goswami wants to resign from the government service. And why? And why is Nawab Hussain Shah so upset with him and places him in prison? Does anyone know? Because he is about to attack Orissa. He is about to attack Purushottam Chatra. He is about to destroy temple after temple after temple, and even he wanted to capture Lord Jagannath from Jagannath Puri. He was such an asura. He was not liberal. He was a demon. Actually, history tells us, the actual history says, that at this particular time when he was he wanted Sanatan Goswami to rule his kingdom while he would attack Orissa. At that very time, the king of the southern part of the Orissan state, I think it was the king of Andhra at that time, he attacked. There was some territorial dispute with Maharaj Prataparudra, and he attacked on the south. And Maharaj Prataparudra went with his armies personally to defend his southern border. And now Hussain Shah, who had recently attained power, he thought, now this is a perfect time to attack in the north. When the king and his armies are in the south, I will attack in the north. And he did that. And that was the engagement that Sanatan Goswami refused to help him with. Did you know this? So he attacked in the north, and Sanatan and Maharaj Prataparudra immediately made some type of a settlement in the south, and he moved his armies to the north. And during that time, Hussain Shah was destroying temple after temple, and he even went past Katak, and he was approaching Jagannath Puri, and the pujaris in the Jagannath Mandir were so frightened of Hussain Shah that they took Lord Jagannath from the temple and they hid him in an island, I believe, in the Choka Lake. And Maharaj Prataparudra came with his armies, and they drove Hussain Shah back into Bengal. And one night thereafter, Prataparudra Maharaj had a dream, and Lord Jagannath personally chastised him in his dream for being so negligent to allow this to go on. So in any case, Mahaprabhu decided to go to Ramakeli. He decided to go to Vrindavan, but actually at this time he would not achieve Sri Vrindavan Dham. He would return to Puri. But this is the explanation or the description of his wonderful journey to Ramakeli and then back to Puri. Here are the words of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Of course, they are translated into English. First, why don't we have a little kirtan? Hare Krishna, Krishna is an ocean of mercy. All glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and all glory to He whose feet contains all auspiciousness. All glories to Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the King of Sannyasis, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Accompanied by his devotees, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu left Nadia. This is after he had left Puri and gone to Navadvip, Nadia, Mayapur, and he had set out for Mathura. He walked on the path of the Ganga bank, and by bathing and drinking, he fulfilled Goddess Ganga's desire. Near Goda, by the Ganga's shore, was a village named Ramakeli, a village of Brahmanas. The Lord went to that holy place, and after 4 or 5 days, no one knew he was there. But how long can the sun remain hidden? Soon, everyone had heard that Mahaprabhu had come. And with happy hearts, everyone, including women, children, elders, pious and impious, everyone came to see him. But the Lord remained always in ecstasy. Nothing but pure devotion and ecstatic love pleased him. He roared, he chanted, he thundered, he trembled, and he wept. The hairs on his body stood erect. Again and again as he walked, as he chanted, he stumbled and fell to the ground. Again and again he performed kirtan with all the devotees who were with him. Not for one moment did he perform even half a sesame seed's worth of any other activity. As he chanted, the Lord wept loudly. For 2 miles on the path, the people could hear him weeping. Even though they did not understand the nectar of ecstatic devotional service, everyone felt happy when they saw the Lord. And from afar, everyone offered dandavat obeisances, and gathering together, they loudly chanted, Hari! 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 And hearing the people chant the holy names of Lord Hari, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became happy. Chant! Chant! Everyone chant, the Lord said, as he raised his arms in the air. And then everyone chanted even louder. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited so much bliss in Ramakeli that even the Muslims, what to speak of others, all were chanting Krishna's holy names. And even the Muslims would offer dandavat obeisances from far away. In this way, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, while in Ramakeli, always performed Sankirtan, and he did not do even half a sesame seed's worth of any other activity. From the 4 directions, everyone came to see his kirtan, and gazing at the Lord, who did not feel their heart melt and flow right to him. And gathering together, the people chanted the holy names of Lord Hari, and no one could hear any other sound. Very nearby was the court of Nawab Hussain Shah, the Muslim king. But yet, fear while they chanted did not take birth in anyone's heart. And forgetting all sufferings, forgetting their sorrows, forgetting their homes, forgetting their duties, everyone fearlessly chanted, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But then, a policeman, what is the Bangla word for policeman? Police. There must be another word that isn't so connected to English. But a policeman, probably undercover policeman, went to the king, Nawab Singh Shah, and said, a sannyasi has come to Ramakeli Gram, and he always chants in kirtan and thus glorifies some ghost. And many people have come to meet him. The king replied, what does this sannyasi look like? Tell me about him. What does he eat? What is his name? And what shape is his body? And the policeman said, and listen to this description of Caitanya Prabhu. The policeman said, he replied, Shruno, listen, my lord, I have never seen or heard of anything before like him. He is very handsome, but I do not have the power to properly describe him. His complexion conquers the splendor of gold. He's very tall. His arms reach to his knees, his navel is deep, he has a lion's neck and elephant's shoulders, and his eyes are like lotus petals. Millions of moons do not equal the beauty of his face. His lips are gloriously red, his teeth defeat pearls, and his handsome broad chest is covered with sandal paste. And a saffron garment graces his broad hips. His feet are like reddish lotuses, and his 10 toenails glisten like 10 mirrors. He must have previously been the king of some country, or at least the son of a king. He must have somehow attained spiritual knowledge and then became a sannyasi, and now is traveling from place to place. Each of his limbs is soft like butter. But now, please listen to this wonder. Despite his delicateness, he violently falls to the ground again and again. In half an hour, he falls hundreds and hundreds of times. His falls break stones, but still his soft and tender body is not broken. The hairs on this sannyasi's body stand erect, and moment after moment this sannyasi trembles, and not 100 men have the power to hold him still. The tears flowing from his 2 eyes are a wonder to see, for they flow like many rivers. Sometimes this sannyasi loudly laughs, and his laughing can continue for 6 hours without stopping. Sometimes after listening to the kirtan, he falls unconscious to the ground, and no one can revive him. Everyone then becomes frightened. Again and again he raises his arms, and he chants the name of Lord Hari. He has no desire to eat. He has no desire to sleep. He has no desire to do anything else. And from the 4 directions, people come to see him. And having seen him, no one wishes to go home. In my life, I have seen many sannyasis, I have seen yogis, I have seen jnanis, philosophers, but I have never seen or even heard of any wonderful person like him. O great king, O Nawab Hussain Shah, I say that this person's arrival makes your country glorious. It makes it fortunate. No one now eats, no one sleeps, no one even talks. At every moment, everyone enjoys only Sankirtan with this sannyasi. Although Nawab Hussain Shah was naturally passionate and even ferocious, when he heard these words, he felt great wonder in his heart. And the wonder-struck king called for his advisor, Keshava Khan, and he asked, "O Keshava, what is your opinion of the sannyasi named Sri Krishna Chaitanya? Tell me, what is the kata? What is the talk about him? What kind of man is he? What kind of sannyasi is he? You must tell me. From the 4 directions people come to see him. Why? Please say what you are thinking." Hearing these words, saintly Keshava Khan became afraid, and hiding his true opinion, he said, "Who says that he's a great soul? He is just a sannyasi beggar, a poor man from another country. He even lives beneath a tree." The king then said, "Don't call him a poor man. I feel it is a great offense to hear those words with my ears. Everyone should know without doubt that he is the same person the Hindus call Krishna and the Muslims call Khuda. In my kingdom, everyone follows my order. But in every kingdom, everyone places this person's order on their head. In my own kingdom, how many enemies tried to stop me? If this person were not the supreme personality of Godhood, why would these people from every country worship him with their bodies, words, and thoughts? If for 6 months I neglected to pay my servants, every one of them would make many complaints against me. And these people, they arranged for their own eating, and then they serve the sannyasi, who is not gazing at him with a loving heart. Therefore, please know he must be the Supreme Lord. That is the truth. Please don't say that he is a poor person. And I wish to make a proclamation. This I say to everyone. If anyone, be a Kadri or policeman or anyone, makes trouble for this sannyasi, I will personally take away that troublemaker's life. This sannyasi may go wherever he likes. He may preach whatever he likes from his own scriptures. He may happily perform kirtan with all the people. He may do whatever is in his heart. This is the same Nawab Hussain Shah who is soon to attack Orissa. And after giving this order, the king retired to the inner rooms of his palace. And thus Sri Caitanya Prabhu was able to continue his pastimes in Ramakeli. This Muslim king, Hussain Shah, who had broken many deities and had broken many temples throughout Orissa, yet he even honored Sri Caitanya Prabhu. How powerful and influential the Lord was, how complete his absorption was in chanting Krishna's names, how complete and full and influential his ecstasy was. But yet, hearing these words from the king, the saintly residents of Ramakeli became happy, but they then met in secret and they discussed the situation and they reached a conclusion. This king is a ferocious man. And he's always agitated by passion. He is agitated by ignorance. In Orissa, he wildly broke millions and millions of deities and destroyed temples. But by divine arrangement, the mode of goodness is currently born within his heart. He therefore now speaks good and sweet words. But if someone comes and gives him bad advice, he may again immediately become wicked and ferocious. We should therefore inform the sannyasi in a very gentle way, "O Lord, why have you come to see this place?" We should send him a letter that says, "Do you think it is practical to stay in a village so close to the king?" Everyone agreed to this plan. And an honest Brahmana was entrusted to secretly carry the letter to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who was tasting the nectar of ecstatic love for Krishna, and who was wild continuously with bliss, who was roaring and thundering the holy names of Krishna again and again, and who was enchanting millions and thousands of people who were singing Krishna's names, Hari's names along with him, surrounded by all those devotees and other people. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the jewel of the sannyasis, was dancing joyfully, continuously. Not for one moment did anyone say or do anything else. Day and night, everyone simply performed kirtan. And seeing this, the Brahmana who was carrying the letter became filled with wonder. And in the midst of the continuous kirtan, he found no opportunity to deliver the letter to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu would not even stop his chanting to speak to his close associates. Why would he speak to others? Was it day? Was it night? Was he among friends? Was he among strangers? Was he in the water? Was he on land? Was he in a village? Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not know, for he was completely absorbed internally. He was wild with his ecstatic love for Krishna. Not finding an opportunity to speak to the Lord, the Brahmana spoke to the Lord's devotees who had accompanied him. The Brahmana said, "You are all close to the Lord. Your concern is for His welfare. When you find the opportunity, please convey to Him this message. Why should you stay in a village so close to this king? All of you, I beg you to tell him this message." And after speaking these words and after offering millions of dandavat obeisances to the Lord, the Brahmana left and returned to his home. And hearing the Brahmana's words, the Lord's associates began to worry deep within their hearts. But still they could find no opportunity to speak to the Lord. Sri Caitanya Prabhu continued to remain far from external consciousness. He raised his two arms, and all he would say is, chant Krishna's names, chant the names of Lord Hari. And in the four directions, millions of people would chant Krishna's names, and they would clap their hands, and they were filled with joy as they chanted. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the remembrance of whose servants' names breaks the bonds of repeated birth and death and throws all obstacles far away, whose potency enables individual souls to move and act, who the Vedas describe as the eternal and pure Supreme Brahman, and whose Maya makes the conditioned souls forget him completely, had now descended to earth to deliver the conditioned souls from repeated birth and death by allowing them to taste the nectar of pure devotional service. Does anyone remember how or why he descended to earth and how he was going to deliver the conditioned souls? If you don't remember, I'll read that again. By allowing them to taste the nectar of pure devotional service, influenced by himself and influenced by his chanting of Krishna's holy names, the Lord was causing the nectar of Vaikuntha, the bliss of Vrindavan, the bliss of spirit of love for Krishna to descend in the form of the Sankirtan movement. Thus, by his own desire, supremely independent, Sri Caitanya Prabhu, who was the crest jewel, the topmost of all persons, yes, he is a person, he performed Sankirtan with the people of Ramakeli. But that worry, slight as it was, had entered the hearts of the Lord's associates. Anxiety for one's beloved is the nature of Prema Bhakti. And because anxiety had entered their hearts, Sri Caitanya Prabhu, who was the super soul in the hearts of all, he became aware of that. And he, slightly smiling, returned to external consciousness. And breaking their illusion, he said to them, "Why are you afraid that the king will come to see me? Anyone who comes to see me, I certainly will see, but not everyone will come to see me. And why are you afraid at heart? What can the king say that will force me to go and see him? What power has the king to order me? Only if I place the words in his mouth will the king say that he wishes to see me. What power has he to see me without my will? The Vedas search for me, but they do not see me. The Devarshis, the Rajarshis, the Siddhas, the Puranas, and the Mahabharats, they all search for me, but they do not see me. To begin the Sankirtan movement and to deliver the entire fallen world, I have descended. My heart does not care whether the people are Yavanas or this yuga, everyone will chant my names, and I will deliver the untouchables, the demons, the yavanas, the outcasts, the sudras. I will deliver everyone. And in this yuga, I will give to everyone devotional service that the demigods, the sages and the siddhas, that they are yearning to attain. Everyone will take it. But persons intoxicated by learning, wealth, aristocratic families, knowledge, and austerity, they will not become my devotees because they commit offenses. In this yuga, people are cheated. They do not understand my transcendental pastimes. In every village and country on this earth, my name will be preached. I have come, Bengali please, in every town and village. This is where this verse is from. Say it in the microphone. Here. Say it in the microphone. Well, that's not so bad. It will work. Some people will hear it. Good. We'll give you 2 microphones.
पृथ्वी ते आचे अतः नगर आदि ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार होइबे हमार नाम.
Translation, please.
On every town and village, my name, Lord Chaitanya says, will be preached.
Every town and village. Now I can tell you, and we all know, that even 50 years ago, no one could even consider it. Even 40 years ago, no one could imagine that we would be sitting here. Where were you 40 years ago? Mataji, where was he? Ami Janina. Probably right here in Vrindavan. Saying, when will Mahaprabhu's movement begin so I can join the 24-hour Sankirtans? I have come to this earth, but still the people do not search to find me. Why would the king come to see me? These words and these fears are all false. This I tell you all. Manifesting external consciousness, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu spoke, and hearing these words, the devotees became very happy. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu stayed for some days in that village, and the Lord fearlessly performed the Sankirtan of chanting His own holy names. Who has the power to know the Supreme Lord's desire? He did not go to Mathura, but He turned back. He said, I will now go and see Lord Jagannath, the moon of Nilachala. And saying these words, the supremely blissful and independent Lord, continuing His pastime of Sankirtan, went south on the path by the Ganga's bank, and after some days, he came to the home of Sri Advaita Acharya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Mahaprabhu was so absorbed in the ecstasy of chanting Krishna's name.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Down Vishnu Bhadraman Sabrina Lakishwara Jasatara Satasri Vrindavan Grace Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ananta Koti Vaishnava Confounded Charge Srila Prabhupada Prem Si Kaur Si Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Sri Radha Krishna Bhagopinath Samakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Nitai Gaur Premanande Srila Prabhupada Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Now we are so fortunate that we can go and see Sri Gaurnitai, Sri Krishna Balaram, Sri Radha Sundar Lalita Vishaka. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we shall continue.